Welcome to another episode of the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast, your source for actionable real-life examples and advice to help you move to the next level of investing. Each week, we help you make a quantum leap in your business, your finances, and/or your life. We want to help you take back control, help you thrive during chaos, and lead you through the current crisis to a better tomorrow. For more resources, check out smartrealestatecoach.com and be sure to give us a rating and review on your favorite platform.
Good morning and welcome, wicked smart listeners. It's Chris Pre, your host again with another great guest. And this particular guest is going to be sponsoring in at our QLS live event coming up October 6th and 7th. So you've heard me screaming about it on YouTube only because a lot of you listeners, the wicked smart listeners, you want an end zone. You want the end game plan. You want to develop 3 payday deals. You want to develop what you've seen a lot of the inside community, wicked smart community members do. I know you do because I get messages from you. And so now it's time to kind of put action in place, right? Put it into play. The QLS live event is our 10th year event. We started those in 16 in the basement of our Chamber of Commerce building. It was lovely. And it's morphed into quite a content-rich event. And so come meet Joe, come meet others at the event. A little bit about Joe. He serves as CAMA Plan's liaison to private equity, private lending, and venture capital organization, where he simplifies that whole IRA, 401k investing for the companies and their investors. Now, before becoming a self-directed IRA, 401k investor, he spent 4 decades, guys, 4 decades developing and executing strategic market entry, marketing, and distribution plans and programs for growth companies in all kinds of emerging industries in the United States, also Asia and Europe. He's a graduate of St. Louis University. He lives in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, not too far from us. Okay, Joe, with that as a little backdrop, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you for having me on and having us on. Appreciate the hospitality.
Yeah, you bet. I love working with you guys. And as I said in the intro, here's what I want to do. I want to position this for the wicked smart listener really to a prelude to the QLS live event, because you guys are going to be there. There's nothing better than getting face-to-face with you guys and kind of like peeling back the layers, right? I think you'd agree.
Exactly. Be there in force.
So let's do this for the wicked smart listener. You guys have been on before, but I like them to hear from you. Like, talk about what is true self-directed investing in general, and then we can peel it back. And these guys all have a sense for what they're going to hear at the event.
Sure. I mean, the brokerage firms pitch their IRAs and 401ks as self-directed, and to a certain extent they are. This is Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity. I have a Fidelity account. I love it. But they're set up to handle listed securities. That's stocks, bonds, ETFs, that sort of thing, brokered CDs. We're set up to handle everything else. The list of things you can't invest in is about 6 items long. We handle everything else. That's apartment buildings. I got a guy with a dump truck in his IRA. These are shares of intellectual property, oil, gas, and mineral rights, shares in biometric devices that are being brought to market, virtually anything else. So that's true self-direction. It gives you the opportunity to invest what you know.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so you made me think of something for the event. This is interesting. So obviously they're all there for real estate. No brainer. We'll talk about that in a second. But all those other categories you just said, I would bet that if someone comes up to you at the table and says, well, here's my scenario, you probably have a workaround, right? I mean,
yeah, that's what we do all day long. Yeah. It's whatever your situation is, we can help you with that.
So for those that might not know, Joe, and I always say this to the listeners, like I zoom in and out on purpose. So for those that might not know, talk about how real estate behaves then. Examples are great inside the IRA versus outside. This just so they don't, we're on the same path with them.
Exactly. Let's take a case of 2 buildings, identical, built the same year, maintained. One's bought inside of a Roth IRA. The other one's bought with non-IRA money. All right. You're getting $100,000 a year. You bought it. Each person bought it for $1 million, getting $100,000 a year in revenue. Well, the guy outside of the IRA gets a depreciation allowance, but he also has to pay income tax. The guy inside the IRA does not get the depreciation allowance, but he pays no income tax at all. And so that goes on year after year after year. All right. So the guy outside the IRA is ending up with less income than the guy inside of the IRA. The real magic happens when you sell that property. Let's say you hang on to it for 10 years. You sell it for $3 million. Okay. The guy outside the IRA is going to have a depreciation clawback. He's going to pay capital gains. He's going to end up with substantially less than the guy inside of the IRA. The guy with the property inside the IRA, there's no depreciation clawback and there's no capital gains. Everything stays inside the IRA. So that will be the biggest difference.
That's awesome. So what if I'm thinking of what's going through people's heads? What if they have a bunch of property now? Though that's kind of stuck, right? They can't do anything with that.
Unfortunately, yeah. You can't. It would be called self-dealing. We have a lot of people that come in. It's a standard question. Hey, I got a house. I got a vacation. Can I sell it to my IRA? Or vice versa. I got it in my IRA. I want to sell it to myself. You can't, unfortunately. Yeah.
So I wanted to dispel that because a lot of crazy things out there about that. You gave some categories. What would be some categories? You said the dump truck. I never heard that one, but what are some other categories that people wouldn't think of? Because there's so many. I know you won't list them all, but
well, we have people want to do crypto, and you can't hold them directly in an IRA, but you can set up an LLC, a checkbook LLC, or you can invest in an entity that does the buying and selling and trading and repatriate your funds back. Also, there's a prohibition against owning fine art, things like Persian rugs and booze and firearms and things like that. But if you invest in an LLC like Masterworks, for example, that buys and sells and trades fine art, you're investing in that company and in that company's business. And so that's a way to get into some unusual assets. Also, you're not restricted to the U.S. We have people investing in coffee plantations in Colombia, vacation properties in Costa Rica, apartment buildings in Hong Kong. I mean, gee, you name it, you can get into it. So those would be among the more exotic.
do you think I did years ago? I just simply took $500, I think it was, from my wife's IRA, and $500 from mine. We invested into I think you just called it a checkbook LLC, and then that did a bunch of deals on terms, and plowed a bunch of deals into that, all kinds of asset classes. Do you suggest people do that necessarily if they're in our space, or you don't have to?
Well, I think, self-direction means that you're in control. You do the work. And one of the things about this is you can get close to things that you understand and know about. So due diligence is a lot more important here than perhaps it is over on the listed securities thing where you hear all day about NVIDIA, so you know what they do. So you want to do your homework on that. We have a lot of people that come to us as real estate agents. They're in banking, they're in mortgage brokerage, they're construction guys who maybe did the work on a fix and flip for somebody and said, hey, I can do this too. So take what you know and put it to work. We have a lot of people that retire. They have 401ks from jobs that they've had in the past. They bring the money over and they invest in the industries that they know best: intellectual property, new devices and technologies, startup companies. So yeah, it's really invest in what you know. You get more control over it. Stick to your knitting. I look at a lot of things, but if I don't understand it, I don't invest in it.
Okay, who wants to be the next apprentice? Pretty interesting, guys. We started this apprentice program back as a July 4th, 2024 promo. That's where it started. And it was so incredibly effective. We were just going to run it for the summer. It was so effective immediately. We kept it. It's in place now. And what is it? It allows you to get into the community, the Wicked Smart community, for less dollars than the QLS Home Study course sells for right now on our site. In fact, when you go to smartrealestatecoach.com/apprentice-pod, apprentice-pod, when you go there, you're going to see that as an apprentice, you're going to get over $13,000 worth of coaching, the possibility for you to touch base with us if you want to 4 or 5 times a week, and it doesn't exist anywhere out there, frankly. That's why we did it. We did it for 2 reasons. One, no one is giving you the support out there. We keep hearing feedback, which is how this was born, that other educators are not giving support. They're just selling stuff. So it doesn't exist anywhere, and nowhere in the real estate education or coaching space. And we want to help you do one thing: deals. So we've wrapped the support mechanism around this. We've allowed you to get into a Slack community with the other associates who previously were protected in Slack, and now you get to jump in there and experience that for 12 weeks. You also get to come to the In the Trenches boot camp, which is private. It's a chance to hang out with the family team and one of the coaches for 2.25 days in our conference room, roll up our sleeves, get calls done, get deals done. If you come with leads, you leave with deals. Absolutely incredible. I could go on and on. Go to the website right now, check out more information about the apprentice, and I'm going to give you the In the Trenches bootcamp site, because you don't have to become an apprentice. It just happens to be free with apprentice and associate. So 2 links I'm going to give you, super important: smartrealestatecoach.com/ITTB-pod. That's going to give you some information about the bootcamp. if you want to buy a ticket to the boot camp, it's more expensive, but you can just to come check us out. About 1 or 2 people every time we run it do just that. Or become an apprentice, and it's for free. smartrealestatecoach.com/apprentice-pod. And are there any mistakes? You've been at this a while, Joe. I want to say, are there any? What mistakes do you see people making where third party looking in with your experience, you go, man, why didn't they do A, B, or C? Can you categorize anything in that realm that these guys can watch out for?
Yeah, probably it's one is not doing the due diligence. I mean, that happens all the time, that people decide that they want to jump into it because their golf buddy's doing it or something like that. And that's a big mistake. That's a big red flag. The other is kind of getting ahead of yourself. We have people that come in the door and say, hey, I found this great piece of property. I want to buy it with my IRA. And I put earnest money on it with my checking account. Boom, it's done. You can't unwind it. You can't pay yourself to get out of it. I know
that already falls into self-dealing.
Self-dealing, it does. It does that. Now, one of the things you can do this, and circle back to the checkbook LLC, is when you set that up, if you're doing things like auctions where you need to move fast, the checkbook LLC is a great way to position cash ahead of time so you can go do that.
And not go back and start the paperwork for each deal, right?
Right. And then, there's some people that we get these questions all the time. Son or daughter's going off to college. We want to buy the condo. The other roommates will pay for it, and junior or sissy will stay there. And you can't do that. But we get a lot of people that say, well, how the heck is anybody going to know? Same thing with vacation properties. They say, hey, we're going to buy this thing. We're going to rent it out all year. We're going to stay there 2 weeks out of the year. And, you don't want to poo-poo the laws because they say, well, how's anybody going to find out? The one word I have is divorce. That often unwinds a lot of stuff that you shouldn't be doing. The second is,
now that you say that, yeah.
Yeah, the second is everybody likes explaining what a great deal they got and how savvy they are as investors. And so inevitably, you're going to be standing around the barbecue, having an adult beverage, and you're going to say to your neighbor, this is what I do, and I got this out, and I figured this out. And then you're going to have a dispute with a neighbor, and the neighbor's going to drop the dime on you. So you kind of, It goes back to, you ever watch those National Geographic, those specials? They go to like ancient Egypt, and they look at the hieroglyphs. And there's pictures of people holding up, bundles of wheat and pigs and stuff. And there's a guy with a cat o' nine tail. That's the tax collector. They've seen it all. So you don't want to monkey. So that's the other thing. People make a grave mistake when they start screwing around with it.
Yeah, I can say I know it's done because people in our community will come in and go, yeah, I did it. And I go, oh my God, what do you, like the writing check with their own properties? Oh my God.
Yeah, don't tell me what you did. I don't want to be a material witness. Burden me.
How about, because the event's coming, you're going to be there. How about you guys versus CAMA Plan versus other companies? I mean, because I honestly don't know. What are your thoughts there? What should they watch out for? Why you guys?
I think that there's a lot of moving parts in the business. There's about 40 companies in our space, and they all try to do a great job. But it's a lot of moving parts. It's a manualized process in a lot of cases because some human being has to review documents and has to sit at the closing table and all of that stuff. So you want somebody who's responsive. In terms of size, we're kind of in the middle of the pack. So we're big enough to get anything done that you want to do, but we're small enough to answer the phone. I deal all day long directly with people raising money and investors who are trying to put their money into investments. So we have a great team. They're accessible. So, I mean, that's our advantage. That's kind of our secret sauce is people feel comfortable with us because they can pick up the phone and get an answer. So that's our key differentiator. And we've been doing this for 20 years. Yeah, we've been doing it for 20 years too.
Well, and that is my second comment. The Wicked Spot listeners know I say this all the time. There's no guest I have on that doesn't have experience in what they do. I just don't do that, right? So you guys have all kinds of experience. That's why you're here, and that's why you're going to be at the event. So I think they're in good hands. Or we don't stamp it. We don't do that in the community. So yeah, I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it.
You bet. Joe, anything else that these guys should know, or that I didn't ask you, relative to these thoughts or the event? Anything at all?
Well, I think there's a lot of things you can do. I like to refer to these accounts as kind of like a utility knife, and that there's all sorts of things you can do. If you don't think you have enough money to do a deal, there's ways to either get non-recourse loans to buy a piece of property, to partner with other people, to buy notes together. There's all sorts of ways you and the people around you, like I invest with some of my coworkers, I invest with my wife. There's all sorts of ways to raise enough money to do your next deal. And I'll bring something with us. It's 20 ways to fund your next real estate investment.
I love it.
And you can get that you come to the show. You got to come to the show.
That's great. Well, plus that marries well with what we teach, right? No or little money down. Those deals I've plowed through mine, our lease purchase agreements have a $10 deposit built into them. I mean, come on, you can control a lot of real estate inside of that thing. It'd be cool.
Yeah, this is a good pair with what you're teaching people. This is an excellent tool. It's an excellent addition to exactly what you guys focus on.
Well, we're going to tie it all together at the event, guys. Joe, how can they reach you if they need or want to prior to the event? Share anything you want, websites, contact, whatever.
Yeah, you can www.camaplan. That's CAMAPLAN, camaplan.com. It's a website, lots of resources there. You can get to me at 215-283-2868. It's the main number. They'll find me. And you can also send something to engage, ENGAGE, at camaplan.com. That gets the whole team on top of what you're doing. So, hey, I don't know if I can do this. Can you guys take a look at it? You're going to have 5 people looking at it.
Yeah, feel free, you guys, the Wicked Smart listeners, feel free to shoot them a note or call before the event, do some digging, and then you can have a live and in person to solidify anything you're working on. Joe, as always, it was awesome. Thank you for the short little stint here to get these guys to understand the bigger picture and come to the event. It's going to be an amazing event, and it's even more amazing with you guys there. So thank you so much.
Chris, thank you so much for your hospitality. We're jazzed. We're going to be there in force. So everybody, October, Boston.
Love it. See you soon, guys.
All right, my friend.
Okay, Wicked Smart listeners, that does wrap up our short episode pre-QLS Live event with Mr. Joe Fulvio. If you're curious how to get funding for your business, whether you're in our community or not, and or funding for our different experience levels, go to smartrealestatecoach.com/7figures-pod. That's smartrealestatecoach.com/7figures-pod, P-O-D. See you next week on the next Wicked Smart Masters class. Guys, for years, I've been at the business now 34, but for years, we had some rent collection things in place. We had bookkeepers in place. We had marketing to go to all these different websites. Now, we simply go to prosperity.io. It was built with us and you in mind. You can market your first property if you're brand new. You can scale if you're already in the business, but you can market your properties across 50 plus platforms in one click for way less than hiring a pro. You can easily collect rent online, so it's like a escrow service for you. You can track payments. You can get monthly reports so you know how your investments are doing, or if it's your first investment. And no tech headaches, no guesswork, just smart tools to help you grow with confidence. Get started now at prosperity.io because every portfolio starts with a powerful first step. All right, thanks for tuning in to the Smart Real Estate Coach podcast. If you got value from today's episode, guys, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a future episode. It literally takes one nugget to access some of the things we're doing. And when you're talking the size of the paydays, it's an opportunity cost that you can't let go. So don't miss an episode. And for goodness sake, share it with someone who needs to hear it. If you're ready to find your best path for getting started on your real estate investing journey in general, head over to smartrealestatecoach.com/get started. We're going to help you take the guesswork out of your next steps. See you in the next episode.